Good things. We are streaming live over at SuperTalk.fm. We're also streaming from that SuperTalk Mississippi app and your local SuperTalk Mississippi radio station. But don't forget, you can watch us. We're on your computer, your mobile device. Just head on over to SuperTalk TV. You'll see I'm not alone in the studio today, which always brings me such joy. Joining us is Mr. Tom White. He's with the Mississippi Corvette Club. We got any car lovers out there listening to Good Things today? And Miss Irena McClain, she is with the Diabetes Foundation of Mississippi. And boy, they are up to some good things. And if you're wondering how these two go together, it's because the Corvettes Club's Classic Show always gives its profits to the Diabetes Foundation of Mississippi, which I think is such a good thing. So welcome.
Thank you.
All right. All right, Tom, I'm going to start with you with the Mississippi Corvette Club. How did you guys get connected with Diabetes Foundation of Mississippi?
Oh, gosh, it was years ago. I think it was even before I got in the club. I retired from the Chicago area and moved back down in 2013, and I think they already had a relationship going then.
So, okay, well then, Miss Irena, how'd y'all get connected?
Well, we were contacted by the Corvette Club, and they came over, visited us, wanted to find out a little bit more about what we did, and the fact that we keep 100% of every donation in Mississippi to help Mississippi kids and adults living with type 1 and type 2 diabetes meant a lot. And at the time, a lot of the Corvette Club members had diabetes, and it was a cause near and dear to their hearts. So it just sort of worked out that way. And we did our first Corvette Club, the Corvette Classic with them. I think it was back in 2015, if I'm not mistaken. And, of course, we had that 5-year hiatus due to the good old COVID, but we're now back and ready to rock and roll.
So this is the first year you're back better than ever. So does that mean, Tom, that you guys took 5 years off of having your Classic? So are folks super excited to have you back in action?
Correct, yeah.
All right. Well, that's going to be a good thing. So tell us about the Classic Show, or the Corvette Club's Classic Show. What made it so special for all these years?
Well, it's, Corvette's a unique automobile in many ways. It's a two-seater, which narrows it down to, a lot of people need that back seat. So, but it's the beauty, I think, of being in Corvette clubs over the years. And I've been in a lot of Corvette clubs around the country in the military, and you meet some great friends. I've got friends all over the country that I still keep in contact with, and I met them through Corvette clubs. Mm-hmm. So it's a camaraderie as much as it is we enjoy the cars and getting the cars out and driving them and showing them.
Do you have to have a Corvette to be in the club?
Do not. You do not. No, we have several members in the club don't have a Corvette, so you just have to have the love of the automobile to be in the club.
When did you first fall in love with Corvettes, Tom?
Oh, gosh, my story dates back to probably 1959 when I was in a school, and my nose pressed against the window of the local Chevrolet dealer looking at that 59 Corvette in there. And I think I realized then I just got to have one of those things one day. So,
when did you get your first one?
My first one was in 1973. I was in the Air Force, and they gave me a re-enlistment bonus for extending, and I just took that money, took it down to Chevrolet dealer and said, order me a Corvette.
And how many have you had since then?
Oh, gosh, I've had a number since then. I've got 5 now, with the number 6 being built later this month. So still can't seem to get rid of them.
Have you kept all 5?
Pardon?
Have you kept all 5, or do you trade?
I still have all 5. I've had others. I sold 2 last year to make room in the garage for this one I'm getting later this year.
So you are a true Corvette connoisseur and lover and all things that way. So when you're a part of the club, the Corvette Club, other than getting together and obviously putting on the Classic Show, I know there's been a little bit of a hiatus because of all the things of the last couple of years. What else does that club do? Do y'all get together and ride or shop stories?
We do. Just about every month we'll have a ride somewhere. And we laughingly say we ride to eat, because usually at the end of the ride there's a restaurant somewhere that we'll eat in. But we try to pick a place that has good roads between here and there. And a lot of times we go off the interstate because the fun and the way the car handles off the interstate is part of the joy of the ride. So we try to have at least one a month doing that. And we have sister clubs and joining states that we work with. They'll be coming down to support our show this Saturday, and we go to support their shows when they have them. So we make trips to their shows during the year.
And when they come to Mississippi to support the Corvette Club Classic show, they're also supporting the Diabetes Foundation of Mississippi, which, Irena, you're like, yes, bring them all, bring all the cars, do all the things. You know, I think diabetes is a word that most people have heard by now.
Oh, yeah.
And it affects somebody in their family. If not, they're managing it themselves. But they may not have known that there was a foundation sort of there for them. So on a day-to-day basis, what are you guys doing in the state of Mississippi in terms of diabetes? Or should I say, what are you not doing?
What are we not doing?
That may be shorter list.
Right now we're getting ready for schools. We're having parents call us up saying, my child was told they couldn't have their cell phone or PDM in the room with them when they're testing. And we've been mailing out copies of the Mississippi accommodations for testing and putting together school emergency boxes that have for schools and daycares that have kids with diabetes. And we have started like an adult newly diagnosed with diabetes program where we'll send them information, one of the Calorie King books, to give them a breakdown if they're doing fast foods or if they're trying to buy groceries to figure out proteins, fats, and carbs, and a cooler to keep their insulin in, and doing a lot of patient assistance. That was our biggest thing, and it still is our biggest program to date. There's a lot of medicines out there for people with diabetes. I'm sure all you have to do is just turn on the TV during the Olympics, and you'll see people dancing around with one or the other. And a lot of times those are out of reach for people, and trying to get them connected with something that they can afford or is on their drug formulary. We did our first continuing medical education program this past February since the pandemic, and also our first diabetes super conference for patients. And it was wonderful. The speakers were great. People told us it was the best program. They were so glad we're back doing it again. There's such a need for everyone, from the health professional to the patient to the family and friends helping the patients, to know as much as they can about diabetes, because it is very complex and there's so much you have to plan ahead for. And that helps you better manage your blood sugars, cuts down on your chances of complications, as you very well know. So,
yeah. And I think, too, it can be a very complicated disease to sort of live and manage, but just because it's complicated doesn't mean you shouldn't try to figure out a way that you can figure it out, because I think oftentimes people get overwhelmed, so they just give up and they just want to roll the dice and just, and just because you're not seeing your blood sugars doesn't mean that they're not up to bad things when you can't see them, if they're too high or too low. So knowing that there's resources out there that maybe can meet you where you're at and help you with that. You mentioned, though, the phone part with students in class. Is that because they have their continuous glucose monitors and it alerts them on their phone?
Right. And, it's so simple. When you have a continuous glucose monitor, you can have it on the proctor's desk, and they can alert you if there's an alert going off.
They can bring you snacks.
Yeah, exactly. let you get that glass of water. Another thing that we do is Camp Can Do, and that's our twice yearly camp for kids with diabetes and their families. And it's been great because we started coming back, I guess it was in 2021. We did a couple of day camps, mostly everything outside, in good weather. But it was great for parents to get back together and network. We've had some wonderful families, over the years, come back every year just so they can see their friends and advise parents of newly diagnosed children, give them some great tips, some good sound information and advice. And, seeing the kids do well, go on to college, go on to get married, have their own children, it's been phenomenal.
Because it also helps people know that they're not alone. And so it creates that sort of sense of community, which not the same, but similar with the Corvette Club. It's a sense of community over something that's shared. For you, it's a little more positive with the Corvette Club, or can be. And you guys have really, over the years, given a lot to the Diabetes Foundation of Mississippi. I think I saw on your website in 2019, which was been in the last Classic, it was like 24,000 or something phenomenal like that. So we want you to get out and support the Classic show, but also support the Diabetes Foundation of Mississippi however you can. And we've got more with them coming up next to that. And your local SuperTalk Mississippi radio station, as well as you can watch us on your computer, your mobile device. Just head on over to SuperTalk TV. Do we have any Corvette lovers or owners out there? Then you're going to want to hear about the 2024 Corvette Club Classic show. You may already know about it. You may already be coming. But in case you don't, this is for you. Mr. Tom White with Mississippi Corvette Club is with us still here on Good Things, along with Miss Irena McClain. She's with the Diabetes Foundation of Mississippi. And all the support to the Classic will go to the foundation, which I think is definitely a good thing. Okay, Tom, when is the show taking place?
It's taking place this coming Saturday, August the 3rd at the Mississippi Trade Barn building.
All right, so a big spot.
Big spot.
So how many cars do y'all normally have, Tom?
We normally have over 100 cars, and I think we're going to have over 100 this Saturday as well.
I know they're all different, but are they all different in terms of like makes or models or time frames, or all? Do y'all try to have like a variety of all the things?
There's 8 generations of Corvettes, and we plan to have should have one of every generation, many of every generation, but they'll be all. Each Corvette owner has his own thing he wants to do with the car. Some like to alter them and make it theirs, and others like to keep it stock. So we'll have both of them there.
Are there any blue ribbons being given out for the best in show or contest?
There will be. We'll have trophies given out, first and second place trophies for every generation, and in each generation there's a sports model, a Z06 or CR1. And then there's just a regular Stingray. So we'll have trophies for all of those classes.
So how does it set up? If it's set up like a traditional car show, I mean, they're all lined up. You've got the ropes off, and you just get to walk by and mix and mingle and talk and all of that. Are there any other activities that are along with it?
Well, we'll have a silent auction going on of things that have been donated to the Corvette Club for this. So there'll be a silent auction going on for people to look at and enjoy. And we'll have Elvis on stage singing during the show. So I think that'll be entertainment as well.
There definitely will. Is there one that each year y'all look through? Well, I guess it's been 5 years to see if is there or is there one of the categories or for whatever of them that hadn't shown up yet that you hope that somebody out there might have one would come with?
Yes, the Corvette has a new E-Ray model. It's an electronic car. It still has the engine in the back, but it's got electronic motors on the front. They're very scarce, so we're not sure. So far, we haven't had one register, but we're kind of hoping one shows up. So it could be.
Mr. Tom, what has kept you in love with Corvettes since the 50s?
I think it's as much the people as it is the cars. But I still love the performance. When you're driving one, there's no other feeling quite like driving a performance automobile. And we've had time to put them on tracks in various places, and we enjoy that. But just driving them and enjoy meeting other people with the cars and sharing like interest.
What's the highest you've gotten on a track that wasn't on the highway, that was safe and legal? I don't know if it's safe, but the legal part's probably important. What's the highest you gotten your Corvette up to?
I was at 178 mile an hour one time on a track. It was a Chevrolet proving track in Milford, Michigan. So it was made for that, and we were under close surveillance. But it was fun. It was fun.
Clench your butt cheeks real tight, drive around.
I did.
I'm just sitting here thinking, Ms. Irene, my blood sugar would I don't know if it would go really high or if it would bottom out.
Certainly the blood pressure.
The blood pressure would absolutely do that. Well, you can tell that passion if over 100 cars, all the people coming in, that just means good things are going to happen, again, to be given back to the Diabetes Foundation of Mississippi. And we're talking about start to school, but you've got we know our ABCs, but we have to know about D for diabetes. That's and right. I think that, is that getting unfortunately more common with students coming into schools with diabetes that parents, teachers, and all the things need to know about?
Believe it or not, okay, our standard before COVID, we would see, say, 70 to 100 kids diagnosed in central Mississippi. That first year of COVID, we had over 180 kids diagnosed, and it was mind-blowing walking into the office every day and seeing all the faxes from Batson. We supplied information, our backpacks with supplies. a lot of patient assistance to kids during that time. As well as to adults. We had a lot of adults diagnosed with type 1 diabetes during that time also, as well as type 2. And the second year was not quite as bad, but certainly way above what we normally saw. And we're down more to, a little bit over what we used to see. But those kids now from 5 years ago are starting school, and they do need to have some adult supervision, someone to look out for them. It's funny, when I first started with the foundation, we had blood glucose monitors, and, teachers would get kind of upset about kids testing in the classroom and everything. And now everyone seems to have a continuous glucose monitor, which is wonderful, but the beeps get on people's nerves. And so we have to make sure we stress to teachers and school staff, the beeps are alarms, and please take a look and see what's going on with that.
And that's just education and
It
communication.
It is.
What about for like homeschool co-ops who may not have the same kind of setup? I know some co-ops are set up where they'll have classroom obviously at home, and the mom's probably or the caregiver's taking care and probably more aware. There's other times where maybe they come together collectively. Are there things that they should think about in terms of like the emergency kits?
Oh, sure. I mean, they can call us too for those. We give them out to daycares and schools all over the state. And for the co-ops, especially if you're going on a field trip, making sure someone is with a student that has diabetes, knows how to respond appropriately to the high and low blood sugar, can interpret either the CGM data or the finger stick data to know whether they're going high or low. Certainly have snacks and have water available, know where the bathroom is, because when kids or adults have high blood sugar, they do have to go to the bathroom, get rid of that extra sugar in their urine. And it's important when you're taking tests, whether you're homeschooled or, at a public school or private school, if your blood sugars are out of range, too high or too low, you just can't think and take a test properly, so they may have to reschedule. One thing that we suggest to schools is have the child test or look at their CGM and write the number on the paper. And, sometimes kids are dropping during a test. Thinking burns glucose. So
you just made someone real happy. Thinking hard makes you burn that glucose. Burn that glucose. Yeah.
So, they need to know if the child fails a test, definitely look at the CGM data. Parents can take a picture with their cell phone and say, they do need to retest.
For children specifically, do most insurances, Ms. Irena, cover the glucose, continuous glucose monitors now? I don't know if they do for everybody, or do they?
Yeah, well, actually, we worked with Medicaid a long time ago to ensure that it was a level playing field for kids with type 1 diabetes. So, yes, they do cover the continuous glucose monitors and insulin pumps for kids with diabetes, and some adults, too, with type 1 diabetes. And a lot of times there's a wait. They may say, we want 3 months of data on the or 6 months of data. And it seems like a pain to go through that. And certainly I can understand the parents wanting to get on the continuous glucose monitor earlier. Sometimes it's not bad, though, in case technology fails, to know the old-fashioned way of how to handle all the stuff.
So it sounds like the Diabetes Foundation of Mississippi is a patient advocate, even though y'all aren't like clinic, you're just not patients. So if someone listening, whether it is a student or just you're older and you've graduated, if you have diabetes and you feel like maybe there's some gaps in your coverage or care, you're a place that they can call to at least have questions answered?
Exactly. And we do have a PharmD that's been working with us part-time, who's helped a lot of patients out, with understanding that they may be using a generic insulin as part of their insurance formulary. Like, for instance, insulin aspart is analogous to Novolog, or Lispro's same as Humalog. And because we've had a couple of parents call us up and say insurance isn't paying for anything, they're only going to pay for the generic insulin, but it is packaged the same, made by the same company, so that's okay. I mean, it is covering. It's just, using the generic
Gotcha. So many
us
questions,
award.
though. It is a very complicated chronic illness to manage. Many Mississippians are affected by it, which I think it's so cool that something like the Mississippi Corvette Club is giving back to you guys. We want to see that 24,000 be, matched and more this coming up weekend. So, Tom, do we need tickets? Or can we get them at the door? What time do doors open on Saturday?
Doors will open at 9 o'clock on Saturday, and you can just get the tickets right at the door.
Is there still time to put in? What was the car you say you're missing?
Yeah, there's still time to put a car in the show.
Put a car in
right
the
up
show.
until that morning.
Any make, model, as long as it's a Corvette, right?
As long as it's a Corvette.
As long as
it's a
Corvette.
Corvette.
Make Tom happy.
That's right.
As well as Miss Irena. I appreciate you both for your time and what you guys are doing. So I hope it's a big turnout.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, stick with us.